All right, guys, so just to recap so far what we've done here in the editor, we've created again a header, kind of the meat and potatoes here along with the pricing, and we also have a footer down here. Now we're going to jump into the text editor just using this example right here. Okay, so what we're going to do is right down here. So let's go ahead and just double click that. When you double click on the text editor, it's going to bring you these options here. So this is going to be kind of the font size, right, by heading, okay? And then there's going to be the font, the actual font. So if you select the font, you can scroll down through the fonts here, okay? And then this is really the actual font size in general. So not to be confused with this one, where it's kind of that standard of you can start with your heading size number 2, right? Where this is more kind of adjusting it in smaller pixels, right, in smaller increments. So as you notice, as I increase in number, the number gets bigger, and that's about the actual size of the font. Okay, so that'll give you a better idea of what you want this to look like, for example, okay? So for this example, again, it is centered. I'm going to go in here and backspace and just put Hangout Barber Shop. Okay. And then I'm going to click outside of this, click back into this so that this comes in. This little dot shows up. And then I can drag that. And whenever you have text, what you're going to want to make sure you do is center it. Okay. If you're really concerned about centering this to the center of your page here. Okay. If you don't, let's go ahead and select this. Left hand adjust, right? And now what happens is that when you center it, it's going to center from this space to this space. So what you want to do is, it's probably best that you center this, and that way you get a better center, okay? Just if that makes any sense, okay? All right, next, what we're going to do is go up to the top here. And when we selected preview, let's go ahead and hit save because we already did that. Again, when we hit save, I've been kind of speeding through here, but this is what your option looks like. The first option is okay, it's been saved, but do you want to publish the site? Okay, you can hit not now and then just publish it when you're completely ready to publish it. Okay, that'll save you a little bit of a couple seconds of time. All right, now let's preview this. And now that we've created what we've created, right? If I scroll down here, check out what happens here. Okay. How am I supposed to navigate using these buttons? Right? So if let's just say I selected menu number 3 and it took me to the pricing guide, right? How would I get back up? Well, I'd have to scroll all the way up. Okay. So to make this a little bit more convenient, we're going to go back to the editor. Now we're going to right click on this panel. And when you right click again in the panel, you get two of the menus. You get this menu and you get the main menu here. Let's close out this filing cabinet of the background and go down a little bit to where we reach the advanced. Okay. Now what we're going to want to do is, since this is the header, what we're going to do is go ahead and just make it a sticky header. Okay. And then go ahead and select save. Now when we select save, what we could do is go to preview, and this would just give you an idea. You got a moving header now, right? So it just makes a lot more sense. So that's the way you design that. It's called sticky header, which is super cool. Okay, next what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and click on the phone view. We hadn't done that in a little bit, but I'm going to do that in the editor. That way I can show you how to adjust if we need to adjust. Okay, now before I do that, this is a header that, let me tell you what's super cool that's going to save you a lot of time. I'm going to right click on this logo here. Remember, this is a picture and not a text. Okay, so I'm going to copy paste this, right? I'm going to just copy it and then drag this up to the very top. And look at that. Voila. Now, the only difference here, and I don't know why it did that. It just all of a sudden, and this is what I'm talking about as far as like maybe a glitch, right? Now I've got a border here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on this. I'm going to go to border, and I can either remove it completely right? Just by killing the transparency or just taking off the actual line and going to none. Okay. So just to speed things up, I'm just going to delete this, right? Because I want to copy exactly this. Let's see if it does it again. So once I copy that, now I could drag it up, and there you go. Okay. Now here again, as I right click on it, I could just simply size it, make it a little bit smaller. Maybe I don't want this header to be that big, so I'm going to right click here again and go to size. Kind of cut down on this a little bit, but I got to drag the menu up first. Right click on that, adjust the size. That might work a little bit better. Let's just say that. Okay. So now I've got this header here, and you see these little menu options. These are submenus. So for example, if I had a link here that said barbers, and then as I clicked on it, it would maybe have the barbers' names. Okay, that's just an example, right? But this is, this will go away. This is just kind of there. It just spits out, right? But you can go in there and adjust, and we'll do that here in just a bit. Now, again, I'm going to go ahead and hit save. And we're going to take a look at the cell phone view. I'm going to go ahead and publish it and say that's fine. We're going to go over to the cell phone view, click on that. And this is what kind of a website we've created here. Okay. So as you see, look at this. I've got the header. The drop-down menu, like normal phones, right, is going to be right here. It's going to have all of my menus here. Okay. This is what I was talking about. The submenus are hidden until we kind of go to more of a live view. Okay, I'm going to close that up. Here's that, this is red, right? So this is the header. Okay. And then here are my pictures. Okay. And I know what happened. Since I went back and I didn't save it at the time, I'll go back and change that second picture. Okay. Now look at what happened here. Now on the desktop view, this is at the very top. Okay. So that may work because if I bring this back to the very top, it's going to look kind of funky to have both of them there. But let's just say, for example, I'm cool with that. As a matter of fact, I might want to see what it looks like in the middle. Okay. So in order to do that, I right click on this here after I've dragged that all the way up. If it ever skips and goes all the way up, then just take the next element and then move that up, and then you'll get it to the center. Okay. But even that, I'm not too sure how that really looks. So this is where you can go to the hidden elements, right? Right click on this so you're selecting it. And then what you're going to want to do is, here's that sub menu here. You're going to want to click on that eye with the line going through it. As you do that, what it's going to do is hide that element. But it's only going to hide it for the cell phone view. Okay, that's what's super cool about this. Here you can go in and probably adjust the font here. This is quite big of a font, right? And then as you add your information, there you go. But as I mentioned, look, these are just minor little details. Okay, so now what we're going to do is go back to the desktop view. And just to kind of prove to you, right, there's the Hangout, and then here's the Hangout again. So they both show up here, even though I have it hidden. And again, if I go back to the cell phone view, let's say I wanted to bring it back, what I would do is just click on Hidden Elements, click on the eyeball. You see how it shows up as I just hover my mouse over it, right? But I don't want to bring it back, right? It's fine where it is. I'm going to go back to the desktop view, and the next thing we're going to do is create anchors. But before we do that, I want to take a look at this button here that I noticed that I overlooked, okay? And this button is going to lead me to a new page, and we'll go ahead and set that up here in just a bit. But first, here is kind of the cosmetics of this button. So again, if we right click there, let's go to round borders, okay? And as you increase, so each one of these is every corner of the border, right? So as I increase the number here, right, I start changing the border, right? So let's change this till about 25. And just to speed things up, I can click my mouse there and hit tab, 25. Maybe I just want it to look like that for whatever reason, right? I'm going to hover over right here, do 25, and maybe just leave it like that. Who knows, right? Just really depends. You can mess around with this. Gives you a good idea, different options visually, right? But in this case, we're going to just keep it the same. Okay, you can also go in here and do that same thing to these pictures. There you go. And this is probably going to give it a more kind of neater presentation here. So we're going to go ahead and do that. But before that, let's go back in here, go to General Settings, change this picture out. And I'm going to select the bearded picture. just to kind of showcase at least some quick services that we offer, right? Even though the picture's not going to be the same, right? Remember, this is the way it was the first time, and I guess I didn't save it, so it reverted back to the last save that I had. So I'm going to go ahead and hit save here. That way I don't have to worry about that again. Okay. All right, so now to create anchors, what we're going to want to do is right-click again on this panel. Again, don't forget this is called a panel, right? So in this panel, we've created a design here, super cool, at least I think it is, right? Right-click on that. We've kind of pretty much went through all of these options, right? So now you know how to finagle a panel, right? Have you ever tried spelling finagle? All right, so click on Advanced. When you click on Advanced, you're going to click on Activate Anchor. And what we're going to do is we're just going to title this anchor Newsletter, because that's the only thing you can really do in this anchor. Okay, I'm going to go up here and hit Save, but I'm not going to publish it just for the sake of saving. Now, you might be able to go through each panel and select the anchor and all that for each one of the panels and then go up and hit Save. But I think in the past when I was doing that, it wasn't saving. Okay, so again, I'm going to go here, and what I'm just going to do is put pricing. Okay, and we're going to hit Save. That's fine. Oh, I hit that's fine instead of the other one. Well, look how fast it is, just as I mentioned. Cheetah, one of the benefits and really cool features of Cheetah is the speed of it. So I'm going to right click on this, go to Activate, and I'm just going to put Hangout Footer, because I think I've got a previous footer saved, and I'll tell you and explain why or what. And I'm going to go ahead and hit Save there. Not going to publish. Okay. And then the last one was this one right here. I didn't activate the home one, which I should. Home, Hangout. Right. And we're going to go ahead and click Save. Now, once we've created the anchors, now we can go in and adjust and assign these buttons here, right? So what we're going to do is just right click in this area here, and you can go in here and adjust the colors and so on and so forth in here, but we're not going to waste time on that. You pretty much know how to do that, so you can go in and do this on your own. Going to click on the gears icon right here. The first one is home. Unfortunately, I like everything to look capitalized. Okay. And if you had a submenu, you would just select submenu, but we're not going to have any submenus on this website. So next one I'm going to click is, don't forget the newsletter and promos. We have a submenu here. We don't need it. We're going to go ahead and delete that. We're going to go ahead and hit Save. Then we're going to go here and we're just going to say Price Guide, call it Price Guide. I'm going to delete these. We don't need them. Hit Save. And then lastly, we have the footer. Okay. Call this the footer. And you see, as I was trying to type, sometimes I get booted out of there. I'm going to delete these. Hit Save. Now I can finally go back up here, click on the link, right? And then add either an external page or a page that I've already created, right? But the only page that I created, remember, is this page, which is the home page. I didn't create any pop-ups. The anchors are right here. They're all set. So again, this is the header. So I am going to go ahead and select home. The newsletter and promos, click on that link. We are going to go to anchor and newsletter. We're going to just click there. Next one is the price guide. We're going to go ahead and click on that link. Same thing, go to anchor, select pricing, and then lastly, we are going to select the footer. Okay. Now, it's kind of interesting that I put footer without really paying attention to what I was doing, right? So we want to go back in here, and it's not really the footer, because that's not what we would have. We would maybe have the Contact Us link. Okay, that probably makes more sense. All right, now that we're done, again, right after that, immediately after that, go up here and select Save. I'm going to go ahead and publish it now. And now we've got a pretty much a nicer looking website. Now, in the preview mode, I'm not sure that these links are going to work right here in this preview mode. Just more of the cosmetics part of it, you'll be able to kind of see. and everything is right down here. Okay. But this is pretty much a fully functional website. Okay, now what we're going to do is go back to editor. Okay, and I want to show you something really, really cool. Next thing I'm going to show you is this here. If you put in a lot of work in a menu, right, and you want it to, obviously when you create the next page, maybe you want to keep that header up at the very top. Well, instead of creating this all over again, you have the option to, again, right click on the panel, right, select the save icon. You can save the element. Okay, you could just save the element. And what we're going to do is, you could do it this way, okay, or you could do it this way. Go down here and you could save the element, header, I'm going to call it header hangout, okay. We're going to go ahead and hit save. All right. So now what this has done is anytime I create a website that needs these same links over, right, I could just go into my personal stash here and let's see if it saved it, right? And let's go ahead and click on panels, select panels, scroll all the way down, and we're going to hit the plus sign here. When we hit the plus sign, it says the panel's created, and there it is. It has been created, the exact same one here. Okay. Okay. So now what we're going to do, matter of fact, that I think is a previous one that I had done. So let's see if I go into elements. Sometimes it takes a little bit for it to show up. There it is right here. Okay. So let's go ahead. I think this is it. That's it right there. So it took a little bit. So this was one that I had pre-made just to kind of test it. Okay, so this is it right here. If I bring it all the way to the very top, you'll see for yourself that this is the exact same one here. Okay, so that's cool. That's what's super cool about saving that. So I just saved myself some work from doing all that all over again. Okay. So next what we're going to do is just go ahead and hit save. We're pretty much done with this website. We just have a button that's not linked to anything, and we'll come back here and resolve that issue here in just a bit. So we're going to click on the home icon, go back here. Next what we're going to do is go into create another page, and we're going to call this newsletter and promo page, right? Okay. And I'm sorry, but my hands are freezing, which is why I feel like I got fat fingers right now as I'm keying that. And we're going to go ahead and hit save. Once I hit save, it's going to take me, and now I've got two tiles that represent this particular website. Okay, we're going to go in here. And once we go in here, because it's a new page, it's going to start off just the same way. It's going to give me a blank panel to start off with. Okay, what I'm going to do is go to right click on it, I'm going to size it, go this way with it. Okay, now what I'm going to do is, well, let's change the background color. As a matter of fact, let's go back and not change the background color quite yet. Let's go ahead and pick that one picture that we had and do this. Let's see here. Where is it? This one here. Again, go back to size, increase the size on it. Now what we're going to want to do is go to elements, bring in a box. I'm going to bring in this box again. Well, you know what? Just to shortcut everything, we're going to bring in a clear transparent box, right? Just with a border on it. Okay. So now what we're going to do is click on add, go to elements, bring over text. And we are going to start off by changing the color to white here by using the drop down. Go here and then put, sign up for our newsletter and promotions. Sorry about that. Now what we could do is again right click and just center this. That's what's kind of cruel sometimes about these being too, and plus my hands code. So I accidentally pressed copy, so it duplicated it for me. Okay. So now this is what we got. Now what you can do is go in here and go to, again, elements. We're going to close these filing cabinets here that we're not using. Go to email marketing form. And in order to trigger the email marketing form that you created in Mailing Boss, what you got to do is just select one of these templates. Okay, so we're going to just select this one here, drag it over here. Okay. And it's going to ask you, okay, which mailing list? These are mailing lists that I've created back in the back with Mailing Boss. I'm going to go ahead and select the 2020, the Hangout Barbershop promos. Okay. Hit save. And then all my pre-selected, pre-created fields will pop up. And all I got to do is just really adjust this, right? Now, what I want to do too is maybe just do that. And maybe we don't have to make this big, right? So do that. Do that. Maybe we want to, oops. Again, close this up. Go to box. Bring in this colored box here. Click on it. Maybe adjust the box. Okay. And we want to kind of center this box here. So we're going to just center that. It's going to center it to here. Okay, next, now, here's a problem, right? So you see how the form is behind this box, right? So you could do one of two things. You can click on this element, okay? Once you click on the element, it says Mailing Boss form. You can go down to advance, and then you could select top, and then it's now on top. So just remember that at the very bottom of each element is the advanced menu, and that's what you could do in the advanced menu. Okay, so again, I just bring this up, I'm gonna center that. I've managed to sticky this. You're going, what the hell are you thinking, Frank? That just doesn't match. So I'm gonna go in here and maybe just kind of make this a darker with that transparency kind of a look, right? Maybe a little bit darker than normal. Hey, and then next what I'm going to do is go to add, go to elements. I am going to close this up, go down to image, pop in an image right here, right click on it, go to general settings. See how quick this is going to become, right? Once you get going and once you feel as comfortable as I do, I'm going to select this picture right here, right? And I'm going to bring this up, and maybe that's not the best picture to do it, but it will be if I shrink the size of all this, right? So if I bring this in like this, maybe it won't look as bad, and just do that. Okay, so this is my outer box here. Oops. Well, we've got this box. You know what? Since we got that box, why the heck don't I just delete this one, right? Of course. Center this just to kind of make it pop a little bit. We'll go to border. We'll change the color of this. We'll change it to a solid line, and we'll increase the border here. Oh, and it's doing it on the image and not the box. So border. Okay, let's do that. Go ahead and click this, and we're going to click solid. And there you go. So here's an email form. Just sign up for our newsletters and promotions. Okay, once we're done there, I'm going to go ahead and hit save. Now, one more thing we need to do to get this going, right? So what we need to do is go back to home. Lastly, we're going to create one more page, and we're going to call this thank you. Okay. Gonna go ahead and hit save. It's now gonna pop up as the third tile there on the web page. I'm gonna go ahead and go in there. And you know what? Instead, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna delete this. And instead, I'm gonna go in here and duplicate this. Now I'm gonna go into here. And now that I've duplicated it, right, I've gone in here, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to now delete this entire element here. I'm going to change this to read and I didn't think I was going to type that much, so we're going to go ahead and go to 40. Okay. Now you see the spacing in between here? Well, I can easily, if I can't put my cursor there, what I could do is change the line height here. Okay. And the smaller the number, the closer it is going to bring them together versus the higher the number, right? It's going to spread them more apart. So if you go down to the very lowest number, right, and this doesn't quite work for you, what you may want to do is just change your header. Okay, and then that's going to resize it. What you'll be able to do is go here, it closes up the gap there, and then you could just adjust this size a little bit bigger. Okay, so let's go to 50, for example. Okay, let's change this to a more nicer, darker color here. Next, I'm going to just do this here. So I want to center this. Okay, thank you for signing up for our newsletter and promotions. Next, what you're going to want to maybe do is, let's copy this. Okay. Okay. Now let's go ahead and just make this a little bit smaller here, maybe 42. Okay. And we want this is a call to action, right? We want them to remember to do something. So I'm going to just change the color on this. Make it a little bit brighter. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this one here, scroll this down. And I know this is a lot of wording, but it's not so much this that I want to show you. I want to just show you something else. Now, let's just select that. Now, would you do this? Probably not, right? But I do want to just show you something. We're going to go ahead and just select white here. Now, once they sign up, they're going to come to this page, right? And they're going to see this. But what's going to be a little bit catchy, and let's go ahead and I still think this really needs to call out. Okay. And we'll do that, center that. Now what you can do is we're going to right click on this element of text right here. And when we do so, we're going to select animation. And we're going to have this animate at a certain time. Okay, so you can do it when it's visible, when it first shows up, when someone clicks on it, or when someone hovers over it, right? But in this case, we're going to set a time, and we're going to set like 3 seconds. Okay, let's do 2 seconds. And the effect, well, we're going to have this pop in, fade in from the left. And then we're going to have this one fade in. Do the same thing, pop in 2 seconds. Scroll down, fade in from the right. Okay. Now before we have that do anything there for us, we're going to right click and we're going to select all the text here. Okay, select all the text by double clicking. Go to the link here. Make sure that your website is set up to HTTPS, okay, or however it is, you want to make sure you're directing them correctly. And for this example, we're going to do the the hangout.phenomenon.com. Okay, and we'll see how this works. Let's go back and open that up. Okay. All right, so now we can go in here and click save. And then the last thing I think we need to do is just go assign those buttons there. So that's fine. We just go back to home. we're going to go back to the previous page, right, which was the newsletter and not the copy. All right, now this has popped up. So what we're going to want to do is just click on the right on the element, then go to this link icon here, and it's basically going to tell you, since that's a form, okay, at what point do we want to do what on the actual form. So you're going to see that pop up here. Okay, so pending subscribe, no matter what, let's go ahead and just click on this box here, and we're going to have them go to a page. If they're pending to subscribe, we still want to take them to the home page, right? Or, I'm sorry, we want to take them, so let's cancel out of here because you're seeing the same error as I am. And it's not really an error, but you're going to realize when I go in here, what I want to do is, these are both named the exact same thing, right? So what I want to do is go to settings, okay? This was my thank you page. So what I'm going to do is just put, change it to thank you. Ah, it doesn't matter, does it? Let's just do this. All right, and thank you again. And we're going to go ahead and hit save. Okay, we're going to go back into here, into the newsletter one. We are going to right click on this element, click on the link. And again, while they're pending subscribe, we're going to just click in this area here. Where do we want them to go while they're pending subscribing? Hey, it doesn't matter. What we're going to want them to do is go to web page, right? And then go to just the thank you page. Okay, no matter what, we're going to just send them to the thank you page. Okay. Open in a new tab, let's just say. Okay, subscription confirmed. Well, once they hit the subscription confirm, they could go back to the home page there, okay, and do that. Unsubscribe. Well, we're not too worried about the unsubscribe part, but we want them to stay coming to visit our website, so we'll go ahead and do that. Okay, and now we're set. We can go up here and click save. We're going to go ahead and publish that, and there's one more other link which was on the front page, so we're going to skip out of here. We're going to go straight to this, right? We're going to right click on that button. And you know, every time I pause this, the item comes up. And now I decided to kind of play it out. There you go. So I'm going to right click on this button here, click on the link, and it's going to tell me, well, where do you want me to go? Okay. So we're going to go to a page, and we're going to want to get them to sign up. So it's going to open up there, and we're going to open up in the same tab, which is this same window. We're not going to open up a new one. Going to go ahead and hit save. And now what we're going to do is finalize this by clicking save and publishing it. Okay. So this kind of gives you just the basic rundown of Cheetah, giving you a good idea of how to navigate through the different tools, what basically panel and elements are about, right? And while you guys can see the top of the page, I'm going to go to the hangout.phenomena.com, hit enter, and see what I got. Now it says no website found. So what I'm going to do is, first off, not panic, which is my first initial thought. No, I'm just kidding. And we're going to go back to Cheetah, to the main website here. Want to make sure everything is good, so I'm going to drop down. And look, I didn't connect the domain yet. So I'm going to go in here, connect the domain, and I'm going to select the phenomenon. Oh, I'm sorry, the hangout.phenomenon.com. Now, I own phenomena.com, and just like I said, since this is not a real client, right, in order to test my site, I just put the business site that I was working with in front of my actual domain, which is a subdomain. And that allowed me to be able to host this particular website. So you can do that too as kind of a test. And as you're building your portfolio, that's a really good idea to do. Now, again, at the same time, we're going to go ahead and drop down here, go to the website and see if it's published. And that's one thing I don't think I did, is I didn't think I went back and I published it. Well, here's the website. This is what we got so far. Okay, this is what it looks like. Okay. And the only one thing we didn't do as we created the newsletter page and the thank you page, I didn't click on the cell phone view to make sure everything looks good. And I'll kind of zoom through that and just do that real quick. Here's the other thing I need to fix. So in the options of this button, right, there was a hover color that I could change. This just absolutely makes no sense. What I might want to do is maybe match that up with that, right, to kind of give you an idea. So first, let's just go ahead and click on these links. So newsletters and promos, it's going to take me right here to sign up for the newsletter. The pricing guide, it's going to take me right down here to the pricing guide. Contact us, where all of the contact information is. And I thought that that was going to happen because I didn't think that I had assigned that. Okay, so we can go back in there and fix that as well. Now, here is the join our newsletter. Going to go ahead and click on that. And then this pops up. So what I'm going to do is just put John Doe D. Okay. Because I already think I got a John Doe in this actual newsletter example. Okay, so I'm going to put GD23 at yahoo.com, the telephone number. Okay, and I'm going to select register now, and let's see what happens. So if I select register now, okay, when I initially set up this button, I did go back and fix something. When I initially set up this button, right, it went to, it's supposed to go to the newsletter page. And then once I sign up to the newsletter page, I should go to the thank you page. But remember, I had the thank you page under the newsletter twice. So I had to go back in and make sure, kind of go through the buttons again, right, when you select them, and make sure that they were reassigned to the new thank you page. So anyway, we're going to kind of walk you through this one more time here. So again, if I go to the web site, it's going to be thehangout.phenomenon.com. Okay, we're going to click on here. And let's just say, for example, I pick Jack Tate, right? jtate at gmail.com. Okay, enter the number 444-444-4424. I click register. It's going to send the information. This is what they're going to get. The timer is on, then this pops up. So this gives you a good idea of kind of how to set up a thank you page, right? That really grabs the attention just enough for them to go ahead and click on this, and it'll take them back to the website. So that's going to sum up kind of the use of the Cheetah Builder. And as you can see, it probably took an hour over the course of the 3 or 4 videos that I put together here. Hopefully it's 3 videos. I would try to make it so that it's 3 videos. But if you guys have any questions at all, please do not hesitate to comment or ask the question down below. Reach out to me on Facebook. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed that last video. Please don't forget to comment down below, ask your questions, and like this video. Also, hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to include the bell. That way you get all of the latest updates and all the new videos that I release. In addition to that, I might have some pretty good, interesting videos that you might want to check out in the description. So don't forget that, and I'll see you in the next video.